through a trail across a desert?
It comes predominantly through the ports of entry, but it does come from all points across the border.
What does predominantly mean? Is that 70, 80, 190%?
I'm sorry, sir, could you repeat the
You
question?
use the word predominantly through the ports of entry. Put a percentage to that.
I'll need to get back to you with a more accurate percentage, but it is the
Take a
dominant.
shot. You use predominantly. I suppose that's more than 50%.
All right, yep. More dominantly, I would say over 80% is coming through the ports of entry.
So if we're going to deal with drugs entering the United States through the land, then it's really the ports of entry that we need to spend the money on. Is that correct?
Sir, as I've testified before...
Let me just say, my view is that is correct. If it's 80% of the drugs are coming through the port of entry, spend your money, spend 80% there, not 100% or 80% on the walls. Secondly,
Sir.
with regard to the oceans, it was said that some 20%, the Coast Guard is able to interdict some 20%. It was 19, 17, 20% in that range. Let's just say 20%. Is that okay? About right?
So right now, we intercept and action 20% of the known drug flow that we know about.
Okay, then there's more that you don't know about, but okay, let's just say 20%. So that means you're doing some 200, so we have some 800 to 1,000 metric tons of cocaine coming into the United States through the oceans. Is that correct?
Sir, every day, Giant South has to make trade-off decisions. They have 5 or 6 vessels that they can action, and they've probably got 20 to 25 known targets with intel that they're moving in the transit zone.
So once again, this is about choices, and we make those choices as well as the president. The president has chosen to spend some $8 billion on border walls, some smaller amount on enhancing the ports of entry, and yet we have some 800 tons, metric tons of cocaine that is not interdicted, that enters over the water. I think that's about the way the percentages work out. So if you're interdicting 200 and that's 20%, then we ought to multiply by 5, which will give us something near 1,000 metric tons. Correct?
Well, sir, I want to be careful on the statistics because about 60% of movement out of the Andean Ridge lands first in Mexico or Guatemala. So there aren't direct shipments per se to the United States. There are some, but most of it first lands in either Mexico or Central America.
And then you interdict both after it leaves Guatemala as well as when it gets to Guatemala. You interdict both sides of it. So the point is still, there's about 800 tons of cocaine that you don't interdict. And we've already heard testimony that your budget is insufficient. It's just a matter of choices. What I'm making here is an argument that we are spending the money in the wrong place.
Yes, sir. To be clear on the statistics, we can only target 20% of known movement. The interdiction is 6%.
Well, that makes my numbers even more.
Sir.
In any case, it's a question of choices. And what is going on here is the U.S. government is making the wrong choice. It's spending the money in the wrong place. If it is about drugs, then we've got to spend the money with the Coast Guard, and we've got to spend the money helping those countries, Guatemala, Colombia, and the Central American countries, beef up their own police, which you've made the argument already. My time is up. Thank you very much, and I appreciate Mr. Larson's